Hello everyone. I hope I am audible now. So let me check the settings. Hello everyone. Oh, that's great. Now I'm audible. I'm sorry. So let me introduce myself again. Hello, my name is Vivek Kumar and I am streaming live for Geeks for Geeks. Today we are going to complete module 4 of the course Folk Python. So this course we are running from last 20 streams, around 20 streams, and this is a live course, so you can post your comments, you can chat live with me, so that's a great thing. So let's complete this module. So after doing some small problems at the end of a module, we have a contest. So this needs to be solved well. So this is our first problem, right? So let's see what's the problem. Deep copy objects. You are given two cuboid objects. You need to deep copy the values of object 1 into object 2. So the inputs are A equals to 2, B equals to 3, C equals to 4, and the output should be 60 and 120. So how this output will come, that I will explain over here. So when the object of cuboid will be made, three values will be passed: L, B and H. This will set the inner self values, and for getting area we will call this function getArea, and for increased dimensions we will call this function increased dimensions. So that's how we are getting 60 and 120. Now for deep copy object, what we need to do is, suppose the input is 2, 3 and 4. In that case 2 into 3 into 4 will give you 3 to the 6 and 6 4 is 24. So it will give you 24, right? So that is the area. But for increasing dimension we will do this increased dimension. Now the objective of this code is user function template for Python 3, and your code will go here. I want to deep copy. So deep copy means, if suppose I have an object being passed, I have an object being passed means, suppose I have an object whose value is predefined. Suppose the name of the object is obj and the value of lbh is predefined. Some value is defined. Let's suppose 7, 9 and 6. In this case, I want to copy this object to the cuboid object, right? Whatever the object will be made, suppose C1 will be made. In this case, I want this C1 to have the same values as given in obj. So this is like copying an object, right? So it works as the constructor of this C1. So you already have heard about copy constructors. So this is somewhat like that. Now the objective is to copy one by one. So this here we will write self.l is equals to whatever the value of this L in obj object. obj dot l. Next we will write self dot b is equals to obj dot b. Next self dot h equals to obj dot h. So in this way we can copy each and every element of obj to the newly made element of cuboid, object of cuboid, right? So let's see whether we are going in a right direction or not. Compilation completed and output is expected. So that's how we can solve this problem. So we have done this. Now we are going to the next problem. Next is Fibonacci object. So this is a bit tricky problem that we will solve at the last. So let's first solve lambda sum. What is lambda sum? You are given two numbers x and y. Print the sum of x and y. So this is a simple problem. So you need to make a function. So suppose if we need to make a normal function, what would we have written over here? We have written over here is def, right? And then the name of some function, and then two arguments x and y, and we need to print the sum of x and y. So we should have written over here print x plus y. Is that okay? So we are going to convert it to a lambda. So how we will convert it to lambda? We will write lambda x comma y, uh, x comma y, sorry, the lambda function is defined on xy as x plus y. So इसको ऐसे पढ़ते हैं. This is read like that a function, an anonymous function lambda is defined on x and y as x plus y. So this we have written like this, and then now we will run. So although we have not written print over here, still we have not written print sum 5 comma 4 comma 6, but still it is giving the result 10. So it is somewhere doing this work in the background. Well, so it is doing this work in the background. So that's why we have not written this. Now without this we are getting the right answer. Let's submit it. So that's successfully submitted. Now going to this problem, Fibonacci. So in this we need to complete the code. So for completing the code, you can see that driver code ends here and the code starts from 21. So 20 lines are written above it somewhere, I don't know where, but our job is to work on def and fib 0. Def and fib 0. So I cannot change the name of this, but let me confirm whether this is small o, capital O or 0. So yes, this is fib O, capital O. Well, so this is saying you are given two objects. Each object has data member x, y and z. There are three data members, right? So let's make it. Let's see how visually it looks like. So one object has three members x, y and z. So they have some values. You need to find the nth Fibonacci object, right? The nth Fibonacci object is given by fn equals to fn minus 1 plus fn minus 2, where n is greater than 2. So for 0 and 1 we can define here, right? But for more than is greater than 2 object, for 1 and 2 we can define. 3 onwards this formula will work. You need to sum the corresponding values of obj1 and obj2 to get obj3. So suppose we have two objects, obj1 and obj2. So if we want to make a third object, obj3, then the value of x, y and z from both objects need to be added here. How we will add here? We will write here obj3 dot x is equals to obj1 dot x plus obj2 dot x. So what we are saying in short, that the x of obj3 will be the sum of x and x of obj1 and 2 respectively. That's what we are saying. Now let's complete this code, right? So if n is equals to 1, comparison operator equals to 1, then return obj1. That's what it is saying. It's written over here. For obj1, the values are 1, 2 and 3. For obj2, the values are 4, 5 and 6. So this will be passed from somewhere else. I don't know from where it will be passed, but we are assuming that obj1 has these values and obj2 has these values. So that's what we are doing. Now we want to make obj3. So for n equals to 1, return obj1, n equals to 2, return obj2. That's what we are doing over here. And otherwise return obj1 plus obj2. So that's what we require to do, right? Now else, so for understanding this code in a deep way, I have simulated it through a main calling function, right? So suppose this is f1 1 2 3, this is f2 4 5 6, and suppose we have taken 0 0 0 in f3, then f3 dot nth fibo third n equals to 3, passing f1 f2 as obj1 and obj2, right? What we are going to get? We are going to get o, and then we will print ox, oy and oz. So this is working for us. So we don't need to write this main part, we need to write this inner part, right? So let's see. Temp equals to fib o 111. So that we will write temp is equals to fib capital O in bracket 1 comma 1 comma 1. So this is a new object being made, and for I in range 3 to n plus 1, for I in range 3 to n plus 1, whatever n will be there, temp dot deep copy obj2 temp dot deep copy obj2 obj2 dot Fibosum obj1 obj1 and obj1 dot deep copy temp obj1 dot deep copy temp, and then we will return obj. uh, we will return obj2. So for n1 obj1 obj2, we took a temp object, and then we deep copy obj into temp, and then we uh, sum obj1 with obj2, and then we again temp deep copy temp to obj1. So that's what we are doing. So let me tell you that what exactly we are doing. First, let us compile and run it. There is an error. Fib0 is not defined. Name Fib0 is not defined. So let's take this Fib0. Name Fib0 is not defined in 111. Fib0 mm, Fib0 is not defined. What is the name of class? Name of the class is not given over here. Two objects xyz, Fibonacci object and Fibonacci object, corresponding values. Temp equals to fib0111. It should work. That's how we make objects. But I'm not sure about the class, the name of the class. Fib0. Let's try once more. Is this the only error? 73 main, 66 nth fibo and obj1 obj2 dot get coordinate error, 35 nth fibo temp equals to fibo, temp equals to fibo. Name error, name fibo is not defined. Well, I can't help it, because we need to know the name of class, otherwise we can't do anything in this. So I am sorry, I need to see the solution. Backend complete function template for Python 3. So this is the solution. Fib O has capital O. Okay. Fib O has capital O. Now let's compile. Again error. Fib O object has no attribute deep copy. Okay. Then what it is? It's if it's not deep copy, it's deep C capital, Fib O S capital. Okay. Deep C capital, Fib O S capital, and again deep copy C capital. Let's compile it. For input 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 4, your output is 9, 12, 15. I think it should come. 9, 12, 15 is coming or what? Yes, 9, 12, 15 is coming. Okay. So I think we are approaching the solution. Let's submit it. So well, it's submitted successfully. Although we didn't get any point because we have visited the full solution. Um, so sorry that we have been given 0. So finally it's submitted, and then let's move to all problems. So all 3 problems are done, and now we are going to contest home and back to course. So that's great that we have completed module 4 today, and we have enough time to start the new module, that is list. So I'm very excited to read the list. So we have already seen the overview. We will just start our course. Lists are just like dynamic sized array, correct? Declared in other languages, vector in C++, and array list in Java. Lists need not be homogeneous always, which makes it a most powerful tool in Python. A single list may contain data types like integers, strings, as well as objects. So let me tell you that what it is saying up till here. So lists are just like dynamic arrays. Dynamic arrays means it is saying that if you have in C, if you have declared array int arr as 10, then you cannot change the size of this array. It cannot be 11, 12 or 30. But in Python it is possible. In Python it is possible that you can change the size of the array. You can shrink it to 9 or 8, or you can make it to 12 or 30, whatever you want. So that's what it is saying. So in other languages we call this type of array, means dynamic array, array list or vector, right? List need not be homogeneous always. Now that's another strength of Python. In C, we declared array as integer array, but in Python we can have one integer, one float, one object of class car, one string, any combination, whatever you want. But while making operations, you need to be very careful in Python Python list, because if you will write, suppose the name of the list is L, and if you will write L0, then it will give you an integer. But if you write L1, it will give you a float. So you need to be careful enough that whatever you are taking out from there, you need to handle like that. So that's the overhead of a developer and not the user and not the language. So that's your overhead. Means you are a developer, so that's your overhead. Now next point is list. A single list may contain data types like integer, string, that I have told you, and lists are mutable and hence they can be altered even after their creation. So lists are mutable means lists are mutable means let me tell you. So suppose we have a list. In this list, we have written 24, 6 and 9. So this list as a whole is mutable. Means you can replace 24 by any other number like uh, 27. But remember that 24 is not mutable. It is immutable. Integer, string, float, tuple, these are immutable. These cannot be changed. Once allocated, are allocated. So if you are writing L0 is equals to 27, it does not mean that if object 24 is on the means memory address 192976, then if you will replace this will replace the whole object. So the new object 27 will be on a new address 2979626. So this will be on a new address. Although first this list was pointing to 24, but now this will cross this and now it will point to this 27. So the list is not a absolute container of these data members, but a list is a container of pointers. Pointer contain करता है, it contains pointers, right? तो यहाँ से देखेंगे तो इसका पॉइंटर कर रहा था पहले इसको पॉइंट कर रहा था 24 वाले एलिमेंट को, ऑब्जेक्ट को। और अब जब आपने लिखा कि L0 इज इक्वल्स टू 27, तो अब यहाँ से क्रॉस करके, यहाँ से लिंक क्रॉस करके इसने न्यू लिंक एस्टेब्लिश कर दिया इस वाले एड्रेस पे, यहाँ पर 27 पड़ा हुआ है। तो ये जो लिस्ट है ये असल में पॉइंटर्स होते हैं, मतलब कलेक्शन ऑफ पॉइंटर्स है, और हर पॉइंटर अपने ऑब्जेक्ट को पॉइंट कर रहा है। तो अगर लिस्ट के अंदर 24 लिखा है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि एब्सोल्यूट वैल्यू 24 लिखी हुई है उसकी। इसका मतलब ये है कि ये 24 वाले ऑब्जेक्ट को पॉइंट कर रहा है, राइट। अब एक बार और म्यूटेबल का मतलब समझ लेते हैं। म्यूटेबल का मतलब यही है कि अगर आपने एक बार लिस्ट बना दी तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आप उसको चेंज नहीं कर सकते। आप इसको चेंज कर सकते हैं। आप 24 की जगह कुछ और डाल सकते हैं, 9 की जगह यू कैन यूज एनीथिंग एल्स in place of 9. So you can mutate, means you can change. So anything which can be mutated is mutable. Now let's understand that how to do this, how to play with list. Lists in Python are ordered and have a definite count. What do you mean by ordered? What do you mean by ordered? Ordered means if I have written 6 as the first element, 14 as the next element, 2 as the third element, then it will not be sorted automatically. Sorting नहीं होगी इसमें automatic, ना ही ascending में और ना ही descending में, ना ही strictly increasing में, ना ही strictly decreasing में. ये जैसा है 6 पहले नंबर पे है तो पहले नंबर पे ही रहेगा, एंड 14 दूसरे पे रहेगा. 2 is on third number, it will be on third number. So whatever order you have maintained, 6 as the first element, it will always be first element until and unless sorted or reversed. So this we mean ordered. Add have a definite count, and it also have a definite count. Means if current list is of 3 size, then the number of elements will be 3. The elements in a list are indexed according to a definite sequence, and the indexing of a list is done with 0 being the first index. So as we have used in arrays, if 6 is the first element, 14 is the second, and 2 is the third element, I'm not talking about other elements. So 6 will be indexed as 0, 14 will be indexed as 1, this will be indexed as 2, and suppose the name of the array is ARR in C language. Similarly, this concept will also work. So in C, if I want to extract first element, I will write R0. So this will give you first element. Similarly, in Python, if you want to extract first element, this element, then this will be on 0 index, and the name of list is suppose ARR, then R0 will give you the first element. So this is same like C, means indexing is same like C. Similar, each element in the list has its definite place in the list, which allows duplicating of elements in the list. So if 6 is on the first place and you again want to store a 6, you can store it, because this 6 is stored on 0 index, but this 6 is stored on 3 index. So add 0 and add 3, the answer of both will be same 6, but they are still two different elements, which allows duplicate of element in the list, which with each element having its own distinct place and credibility. Lists are useful tool for preserving a sequence of data and further iterating over it. So why we require to preserve a sequence of data? Suppose I am storing the marks of few students, and the first student getting score 89 out of 100, the second student getting score 20 out of 100, then we cannot make ascending or make descending. First student always be paired with the first number, and second student will always be paired with the second number. So that's why whatever order we have made will be intact, means that will be untouched. So there are few things that we need to understand and see. So this is the table of content, means how to create a list, how to know the size of list, so that we will see one by one. So first point is creating a list. List in Python can be created by just placing the sequence inside the square bracket. See this. This is a blank list. Blank list means Now the list has been created in memory. It is taking some address. List has been created with some address. I'm not making it round. I'm going to make it this way. And the name of the list is list, and the list is pointing to this memory address. Suppose the memory address is 2979, so list will contain 2979. So what it means, we have created an empty list, right? Now if you want to create a list with 10, 20 and 40, means the three elements, then again the same process will work, but this time at this address or a new address, a new list will be created that will contain 10, 20 and 40. 10, 20 and 40. So this is if you want to make a blank list, that's also possible. If you want to make a preliminary list, means with few elements, that is also possible. If you want a string list, it's possible. If you want to print the first element at index 0, you can print like this. If you want to print the third element at index 2, you can print like this. So the relation between the element number and the index is that the element is always equal to index plus 1. Means we are trying to find the third element. So in this, if you want to find the third element where we don't know index, then we can solve this formula for index. So index will be 3 minus 1, and that is equals to 2. So that's why we have taken index 2. So position is made for human and index is made for computers. So computer says the first element 0 and human says the first element 1. So that's the difference over here. Now for creating a multi-dimensional list, we can go like this, that we will see in detail. Now see this. Creating a list with multiple distinct or duplicate elements. A list may contain duplicate values with their distinct positions, and hence multiple distinct or duplicate values can be passed as a sequence at the time of list creation. क्या मतलब हुआ उसका? What does it mean? It means that, see this example, 1 2 4 4 3 3 3 6 5. In this, 4 is coming 2 times and 3 is appearing 3 times. So list with the use of number, if you will print this list, what will be the output? Same output. Now if you want to make a list with mixed type, you can also make it. Integer, integer, string, integer, string, integer, string. No problem. You will get this. So lists are so simple, but while using the values of these lists, one must be careful enough. Now see this example. How will we know the size of list? Suppose a list contains some elements. I don't know how many elements are there, but it is containing some elements, and I know that there exists a list. एक list है कोई. So for getting the length, we use length function. Length function returns the number of elements, the number of elements in the list, right? So we will pass this L into this length function and we will get that what is the length of this list or how many elements are there in the list. So see this example, length of list 1, because list 1 was was blank, so length is 0, and in this case list 2 was having 3 elements, so length is 3. Now let's see this. Suppose we have created empty list. Currently we don't have any elements for adding, so we just have taken empty list. Now what if I want to add one or two elements after it? Okay, so for that we have append function. What append function does, suppose we have a list with the name list and it is pointing to a address 2979. So 2979 is an address in memory where we will store this list. So it is pointing to this address. Now the append function will start with the first element. So first suppose we want to append 1, so it will append 1 and make the list like this. Again if you want to append 2, then it will change this list and it will make 1 2. So this way you can change. Why the list is mutable? Because it is stored on heap. So we will not go into details of heap, but heap the heap memory can be readjusted. It's a dynamically allocated memory. So that's why we call it heap. Now after adding 1 2 and 4, when we printed this list we got this 1 2 4 and initially it was blank, right? Now after this we use some for loop for adding one by one, and inside for loop I have appended I. So I, for the first time it will be 1, for the second time it will be 2, for the third time it will be 3. It will not go beyond 3 because it will go up to n minus 1. So what is n over here? N is equals to 4. So it will go up to n minus 1, that is 3. So 1 2 3 it will go, and hence we will get the list as 1 2 4, it was a previous list, and 1 2 3 was added later on. So that's why we call it mutable. What we are doing here, we are not only adding elements, we are also changing its length. That was not possible in C, C++ and other languages. So that's the beauty of Python, that we are able to change the length of the array or the list over here. Now hmm, now we want to add a tuple also. So 5 comma 6 is a complete tuple. Means if something is written inside round brackets, we say it a tuple. So for single element we can write like this. So this is a tuple. But for more than one element, We can write like 5 comma 6. This is a tuple. So the property of tuple is it is immutable. It cannot be changed. Once allocated, once made is made, right? So on appending this, let's see what sort of output we get. You can see the complete tuple has been added. 5 alone and 6 alone has not been added, but the complete tuple has been added. So hi there, if you have any queries, you can live chat with me. Live chat with me. Now, the last one. Addition to a list. So we have a list, a new list, and I want to append. So I want to append for and geeks as a whole. So let's see. It is included as a whole. Now can you tell me that what is the length of this list? Let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Your answer is 10, isn't it? Please use live chat for giving your answer. My answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this will be treated 1 as a whole, and this will also be treated as a whole, one element, not two elements. So my answer is 8. So if we will find the length of this, we can verify whether your answer is correct or my answer is correct. So let's verify it. Is this editable? Yes, it is editable. Print length of list. Where it is gone? It's not showing output. That's not fair. That's not fair. Where is the output? Sorry, it's not showing output. Anyways, so we are going for insert method, right? Suppose we have a list. I want to insert some element at some particular place. Let's understand this. Suppose we have a list, or you can say an array, a dynamic array. So list can also be named as dynamic array, who can increase and decrease its size and change the elements. So what we were talking about, insert method, right? So 7 is the first element, 29 is the second element, 56 is the third element, and I want to insert a 42 in between this and this. So obviously 42 cannot be replaced with this, but 42 can be replaced with this. So what the Python list will do, Python list will shift it to the next position, and then Python list will overwrite this. So for this insert, we need to write insert 0 1 2 0 1 2 position and the element should be 42. So 2 comma 42 will work for us in this case, right? So let's see how this example is working. So it takes two arguments, position and value. So we have a list 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have printed the list. So this is our list. Now I want to insert uh, position is first given, right? I want to insert at position 3 the element 12. So as I told you, 1 0 1 2 3. So for this it will do like this, means the list we have is 1 2 3 and 4. Now position is 1, position is 0 1 2 3. So I want to insert over here. And what I want to insert? 12. So the size of this array, which is currently now 4, will increase. So it will become 5. So the new array will be 1 2 3, and then the new element at position 3, and what is that? 12. And this element is shifted to a new position, right? It is shifted to the new position, that is position 4. So that's how we get this answer. Now what about geeks? Let's see this. After making this list, the new list is 1 2 3 12 4. Now again I want to insert geeks at 0 position. So at 0 position, if you will insert geeks, then this all 4 or 5 items will be shifted to the new locations. So the first position will be taken by geeks, and then 1 2 3 12 and 4. So that's how we will get this. I hope I am clear with this list. I am waiting for your comments so that I can answer your question. Now what is extend? Extend looks similar like append, but it's not similar. What append was doing, see in this example, append was appending the whole list as an element, as one element, right? But extend will not do this. Extend will treat it as different element and treat this as different element. So it will be merged in first list as two different elements. So that is the difference between append and extend. Where will be remove, not removing, but not accessing, extending. Okay. So one thing is common in these two, append and extend. These are usually asked in interviews, that what is the difference between append and extend, or what is the difference between append and insert. So append and extend have a single similar property, that they both insert at the end, whereas insert function can insert the element anywhere in the list given the position. You need to give the position. But extend and append does not ask for position. They by default they by default add anything to the end of the list, to the last of the list, right? So that's the great difference between the insert method and append extend as a whole. Now what is the difference between append extend? If both are inserting at the end, then what is the difference between these two, append and extend? So the difference is, you can see here. So here we have printed a list. Now we are going to extend this list by 8 geeks and always. So 1 2 3 4. So according to append, the length of the new list will be 5, but according to extend, the length of new list will not be 5, it will be 8, sorry 7. 4 plus 3 7. So let's see the output. This is the output. Whereas if you have used append method, if you have used append method, आपने अगर append method यूज किया होता, उस केस में यहाँ पर ये लिस्ट ऐसी होती, 1 2 3 4, and then list inside the list, 8 geeks always. ये लिस्ट होती है आपके पास. बट यहाँ पर क्या है, यहाँ पर इस पूरे लिस्ट की लेंथ कितनी है, 1 2 3 4 एंड 5. दिस इज ट्रीटेड एज अ होल. बट यहाँ पर इस लिस्ट की लेंथ कितनी है, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, और यहाँ पर 4 5. क्या डिफरेंस आपको दिख रहा है? ये अपेंड का ऑपरेशन है and this operation belongs to extend. So I hope the difference is visible. Although both are adding at the end, both are appending at the end, but one is appending as an element and one is appending as open elements. Now this is basic thing that if you are familiar with C or some other programming language, then you might be using arrays, and in those arrays, okay, so well, today the time is saying bye to me, so I need to say bye to you, and we will see this accessing elements, using elements, and many other things in the next stream. So I only stream from Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. So let's enjoy our weekends and we will meet on Monday. So bye for today. See you.